Welcome. Your name?
Aaron.
What's your last name, Aaron?
Rung Pinyopan.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to say that. Holy shit.
Boy. Sorry.
It's going to be, what is it, 16 letters?
14.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. I didn't have a stand a chance on that one.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Rung Pinyopan.
Rung Pignon Pong.
Rung Pinyopan.
All right, all right. I like ping pong and pinball too.
What's the nickname?
So, Aaron, where are you from?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Ooh, Madtown. Yeah. I like it. So talk to us a little bit about what's on your mind. What do you?
Okay. So residential guy, but now starting to get into commercial.
Okay.
10% partner and industrial flex, 60,000 square total.
Okay.
Different buildings. We also bought 4 acres of land. New Costco just went in 100 yards away.
Okay.
My dilemma is, do we use the capital that we have to build more flex buildings, because that's what it's zoned for, or wait for the great opportunity that we talk about? That's about, so we want to build 30,000 more square, about 3.2, and leverage is tough, so we're going to have to put more money down. So that's the trick.
So you're going to be in it for $1.10 a foot?
What did he say? Is that what it comes out to? The math?
Approximately.
Okay.
Yep, pretty doggone close.
Yeah.
Is there absorption? Do the rents justify it?
Right now, we're getting about 13 a square, triple net.
Okay. So if you're getting 13 a foot, you're building for 110. It's not bad, it's not great. It's not great math. With Costco being in proximity, is flex industrial the highest and best use for that extra 4 acres? Where's the frontage? Is it behind the other building, so you don't have any frontage?
It's not, yeah, it will be in the back, because it's actually 4 acres, so we're only gonna use the back for industrial flex. The front's gonna be retail with like office on top.
Yeah.
But that's another phase. So we
With
are
the
gonna be
office on
hitting,
top?
we will be hitting back there, yeah.
Yeah. So visibility is going to matter. It's not going to matter as much if you're dealing with, kind of flex, small bay industrial. How big will your units be?
Looking at about 5 units, so by the end caps will be larger, 5,000 square.
So 6,000 apiece. Those are pretty big units.
We can carve up another one in there too, another wall.
Okay. And you think that you got the absorption, no problem with 5,000 and 6,000 square foot units?
We are confident. We haven't started the marketing of it yet, but we have 2 brokers, Colliers, and a local builder that says there's high demand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if you got the high demand and you can validate the demand, what I would do is I would pre-lease before you break ground. If you can pre-lease before you break ground, you want to be predictive. You don't want to be spec in this market and find out what's going on. So, if you can get that done, you can do a build to suit. You can get a nice quality, credit-worthy tenant to sign a nice long-term lease. Let that be what finances the deal more so than just your balance sheet.
What percentage would be your trigger point? Like 60, 70%? Then say, okay, let's go.
On the financing?
Yeah, like so pre-lease. Would you wait till 100% pre-lease? I don't know if we can do that.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'd have to see it. I'd have to know a little more about how it's configured, what's adjacent to it, how it orients to the rest of the zoning within the marketplace. Is it a densely zoned flex industrial
It's
area?
getting there. It's all industrial park, but there is a Hyatt right across the street, which is nice.
Okay. And how is current occupancies in the marketplace?
100% what we have, and then new buildings came up and they're all 100% too.
Okay.
So there's definitely demand.
Okay. I think what I want you to do is I want you to not have to compete too much. So if you were in that 50 to 75% pre-leased, I think you'd be pretty sound. I wouldn't want you to go total spec on it, but that shouldn't be that tough. Now, what type of construction is it going to be?
18-foot ceiling, no loading docks. We went loading docks on the other ones. Just
Steel building, concrete construction?
concrete. Yeah. Our biggest thing is just.
And what's the
financing.
sidewall?
What do you mean, like?
How high is the sidewall?
Oh, 18.
18?
Yeah.
And what's the roof peak?
I don't remember.
And how far along are you in the engineering?
Not far at all. Just had some architects draw something up that would fit on site.
Okay, so that's your maximum square footage.
For that back area. We can kind of do an L shape, but then we might cannibalize some parts.
30,000 feet on 4 acres, that's not a lot.
It's not, but the topography and the water,
Watershed.
yeah, we need a lot of But that's the dilemma is, do we save our money and wait for the big opportunity, or do we just build on what we have, knowing Costco's right there?
So, are you saying, do you want to save your money for an alternative investment? Or do you want to invest and double down on this investment?
That's the question. Yeah, do we build and use all of our capital, or do we wait and just leave it flat land? Maybe even do a CSM and carve up that land and sell the land.
Yeah, I would absolutely subdivide it, create a separate parcel with an access easement. I would allow it to finance its own self independently, and I wouldn't use all of your capital by any stretch.
It would take all of our capital.
I don't think so.
Can I use some of your capital?
I don't think so. But what I mean to say by that is that I think you'll be able to apply appropriate leverage. If you, so, I mean, let's, since we're being honest here, how much do you have to put in?
My partners have enough for cash, but they definitely don't want to do that. I have enough for 10% of my share.
10%. And so I would think what you want to do is you want to create a different ownership structure. If he can utilize say a limited partnership structure where you've got some LPs, you go out as a general partner, you can put together an investment vehicle that will allow you to raise the equity that you need, apply the leverage on the pre-leasing. You're going to need more than an architectural rendering, so you're going to have some soft costs that you're going to have to get into. But let's take a look at the site and see if that really does make sense for you to do that. If you've got it pre-leased with a fixed income for at least a 10-year amortization on the initial tenancy, I kind of can get on board with the structure. If that's the case, what I might do is I might just let it perform as it is, see what the marketplace looks like in a few years, and go milk another cow.
Land's not going anywhere. So.
Land's not going anywhere, right? There's no urgency to develop
It
it.
just doesn't, like if we carved it off and sold the land, then we would cash flow heavier on what we already have. And that was kind of a thought as well, do we just play that angle?
So what do you think the dirt's worth?
$1.1 million.
Okay. So if you've already got $1.1 million in the dirt, it's $3 million for construction, which seems, again, high. I think you can find an alternative building structure that could really work, and you build it for a lot less. You can build a steel building with block wall and higher ceilings and better sidewalls, and you can do it on red iron. It'll support all of the infrastructure that you need. You can pour better concrete. I think you build the building cheaper than $3 million.
Yeah, I'm still in the process of getting different bids, but yeah.
Yeah.
It seems a little high.
Yeah. Anybody have any comments or thoughts for him?
Do you use the land as your equity?
You should.
I have leverage on the land as well. Yeah.
So
We would have to come out of pocket.
So the 4 acres is leveraged with the current asset?
It's all one 11-acre parcel. 7 acres has 2 buildings on it, and 4 on the south are vacant.
And how many square feet is the total thing?
30,000 on one building and 28 on the other.
That's really underutilized for 11 acres.
Yeah.
11 acres of land,
All
80,000
concrete.
feet is not a lot.
What do we have? 58,000 square feet on 7 acres now, and then 4 vacant now.
Right, that'd be 30, so it'd give you 87,000 square feet on 11 acres.
Yeah.
So how many square feet is 11 acres, ladies and gentlemen? Right? It's approximately 480,000 square feet of space. And you got 80,000, so you have 20% coverage. That's awful.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but
That's awful.
it's one level, 30-foot high ceilings, tons of mezzanines in there.
But that doesn't consume the volume of space.
No.
So 20% coverage on land development is tough to make work, right? Normally we look for 30, 40%. In industrial, you can sometimes do much better than that because there's not a huge parking load. It's access, truck drives, all of that. In retail, right, you're probably 25% coverage. So 20 is low for sure. I think the other part to say is that The mistake that you've made already, it seems, and it's, you know, it's missed opportunity more than a mistake, is you probably should have carved off the land that wasn't needed before you leveraged, not after.
Okay.
So that would really help you. So, folks, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever getting ready to develop an asset and you don't need all of the space that you have, try to carve it off before you go in for the debt, and don't allow that to become part of your collateral. I just did this with a parking lot that I had in a shopping center that I'll share with you. I've owned the shopping center for a long time. It was overparked. Now I'm going back for a variance because what I carved off makes me a little slightly underparked. But I took this dead out parcel parking lot, and everybody's telling me, oh, you're not going to get anything for it. You'd be lucky to get a $30,000 a year ground lease. And we just signed a deal that we're building right now for Starbucks at $107,000 a year for what amounted to like 35 parking spaces. And, you know, but if I didn't carve it off before I did that, it would be part of the collateral of the primary building, and then the lender's got all kinds of restrictions, and, you know, they're going to tell me what I can and cannot do. So just by carving that off, that became the equity in the development. Now, I haven't put any leverage on it, but I'm going back and doing leverage after financing, because with rates where they are, there's an appropriate leverage that makes the deal really sing. And well, Scott, why would you just do it all cash? Because there's an appropriate leverage that makes the deal really sing, right? So what do you want? Do you want all of your money performing at a lower rate, or do you want some of your money performing at the highest possible rate? That's the question. And that's the answer that you individually have to give, right? It depends on who is making that determination. And for me, I always like each deal to stand on its own. I wanted to throw off maximum cash flow with the least amount of money. So I end up getting probably closer to 24% personal cash-on-cash return if I apply the leverage. If I don't apply the leverage, it almost cuts that in half. So you want a 12% cash-on-cash or 24%? It depends on if you have another place to place your money. I personally believe that your cash is going to be more valuable in this cycle than it has been before, even with inflation. So we're all suffering that loss of inflation, 58% or 60% on eggs, right? Well, if this was an egg-based economy, then you're screwed. But it's not, okay? So you see those anomalies. We had that same situation, you know, last year with plywood, right? Plywood was up incredibly. How's plywood doing today? It's relatively normalized. Still a little elevated, but not like it was. So those are the things that I would tell you. I mean, I would take a look at it. I think you can make up ground on your construction costs. I think you can potentially talk to your lender about maybe what it would cost for you to release that land. Say it doesn't have any use. We've got an opportunity. See if they're willing to just release it for a pay down. You might be able to give them $100,000 to release it. You also have the opportunity to go back to that same lender and tell them that you want to develop, and would they allow you to utilize that the equity in the land as your equity contribution in the construction, pre-lease it, see if you can get to at least 50% before you break ground. But I will tell you, I think, you know, as long as you're not going too crazy with your infrastructure, you probably could get that thing built in the 70s, maybe $80 a foot. Right? Save a lot. All right? Give a round of applause. Great job, Aaron. Thanks. All right, so then we got one more.